Well, good afternoon. I want to go ahead and be respectful of time and get started. Today, I'm excited to welcome you all to our fifth group mentoring session through our CommunAbility mentoring program here at Disability in North Carolina. My name is Beth Fatal, and I am Executive Director of Disability in North Carolina. We're excited to have you all with us. The topic today is building your support network, and we've got some special guests to join us, and some have already joined, and I'm still waiting. So as those presenters join, hopefully they'll be here. But I know we've got folks from A&T, so they are represented, and so you're going to hear some great things that are happening on campuses across North Carolina as it relates to building the support networks, but kind of growing this conversation around disability inclusion for our college students with disabilities on campuses. And so again, thank you all for being here. At this time, I'd like to go ahead and invite those career advocates that are on today's call. I know Michael Offord is on with us, and we have Leanne. I think I saw you as well. If you all would join us, I want to give you guys an opportunity to introduce yourselves.
Hi everyone, my name is Leanne Tarigny. I feel like I've met a lot of you guys, but for those of you I haven't met, I work at UNC Charlotte. I'm the career advocate here on campus. Excited to hear what everyone has to share today and network a little bit with everyone across the state. I would encourage you guys to share where you're located in the chat and do some networking in there as well. Great to have everyone here.
Thank you, Leanne. Yeah, that's a great call out. We really want to encourage conversation and engagement in that chat box. You can also ask questions or make comments as well. So we have, I know Leanne and Michael, you guys will be watching that chat box too, and providing us some questions if they come in. So thank you all. Michael?
Yes, my name is Michael Alford. I am a freshman graphic design major and the career advocate here at North Carolina A&T State University. And my job is to find creative ways to get students on campus to be interested in having mentors during their college journey. And I'm excited to connect with you guys at today's meeting.
Fantastic. Thanks, Michael. And I was just going down the list here. Is there anyone else? Micah or Janila? I know it's a busy time for students right now as well. So wonderful. All right. So again, I encourage you, stay engaged through the chat box, connect with others. I know we have a mix of individuals on today's call, from our business mentors to our mentees as well, representing schools from UNC Charlotte, from NCA&T, and some others across the state. So again, thank you all for being here. Want to remind you, and I am continuing to get these in, the CommunAbility program guides. The guides were sent out as you were matched with your mentor or your mentees. Just encourage you to use those as a jumping off point as you engage in conversations with your student or with your mentor, and it gives us, again, some data and some information that we can use as we continue to improve the program. And so again, thanks to those that are submitting those, and please use that as you continue to meet with your mentors and your mentees. And if you need a copy of that, if you haven't received one, please reach out to me as well, and let me know that. And I'm trying to think if there's any other announcements before we get started.
Here, sorry they went so quick. This was a small bag though,
That's the only size bag they had.
and I've been eating them with lunch every day too.
Yeah.
Me,
You don't mind, do you?
go
No, you're
ahead
fine.
and mute everybody.
Better anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, I want to go ahead and open up today's topic. We all know how important connecting and building those support networks are. And we've had the opportunity in the last several months to visit campuses across North Carolina and spend some time with our guest speakers for today. Kevin Maxwell is the Access Coordinator at A&T, and Christy Dunston is the Associate Director of Career Counseling, also from A&T. And then we have Charles Jennings, who is Director of Career and Professional Development Center, and Dekendrick is the Director of Student Accessibility Services, and they are representing NC Central University. So Pat Kuehl, my operations director, and I have had an opportunity to visit both of these campuses, and they're really doing some innovative and creative things as it relates to collaborating. We know, and really by design, this program was created because we recognize the disconnect that continues to happen between career services and the disability support services offices on these campuses. So when we come on campus and we see some really creative ways that these departments are working together and these offices are partnering together, we thought it's worth talking about. And so I wanted to bring these speakers to you today. And I want this to be a conversation. I really asked them not to bring a presentation, but just talk about some of the ideas and some of the things that they're doing. And so I want to go ahead and again, welcome our guest speakers. If you all would join me on camera, that would be great. And let's go ahead and start. I want to give you guys an opportunity to also introduce yourselves. So let's start with Kevin Maxwell and Christy Dunston. Welcome.
Thank you, Beth, so much. Certainly appreciate this opportunity to share just a little bit about what we're doing here at North Carolina A&T. My name is Kevin L. Maxwell, the Access Coordinator for the Office of Accessibility Resources here on campus. This is my second go-round working for the university. I worked from 2003 to 2012 with a program called Upward Bound. And my background, of course, is education. So for the last 29 years, have worked with students that have disabilities, specifically in special education. And I'm also an alum of the University of A&T. I graduated from the university in '93. So I started back in this role in August of 2022. So that's just a little bit about me, and I'll allow Ms. Dunston to introduce herself.
Good afternoon. My name is Christy Dunston, and I serve as the Associate Director for Career Development in the Office of Career Services at North Carolina A&T. I have been at A&T for 3 years, but within higher education for over 10 years. And it has been great to work with Mr. Maxwell as we start the process of our partnership with accessibility services, and also working with Michael as well, just to really start building and supporting the students that their office supports.
Great. Thanks, Christy. And you just met Michael. So Michael Alford is one of our career advocates. So he has been working with us throughout the semester. And he's the point of contact for CommunAbility mentoring on the campus there at A&T. And so he has worked closely, as I know, with your office, but and particularly with Mr. Maxwell's office as well. So great. I appreciate your introductions. So tell me some of the things that are going on at A&T. I know that you all recently hosted kind of a relaunch or a rebrand of your ORS office. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so a couple of months ago, we had an open house, and we are going through this entire rebranding process of ORS. Probably as with many campuses online, there is this stigma, this negative stigma when it comes to students that have disabilities. A lot of times what we are seeing is that faculty, staff, even other students think that a student that has a diagnosed disability is somehow broken, and that they are not able to achieve at the same level as the other students on campus. And so we are desperately trying to remove that stigma throughout things like this open house that we had, welcoming students as well as staff and faculty to come to check our office out. We're in a new space. When the office initially, I guess, was originated, it used to be in the basement of one of the buildings here on campus. And we have moved from that building to one of the newer buildings, actually the academic building. And so through that process, linking with various departments on campus to expose our students as well as the staff to what disabilities really is and what that really looks like as students progress through their journey here at A&T. And I'm gonna pause for a moment and let Ms. Dunston join in.
Yes, so I was able to join the open house event and speak about our services that we provide students, but also I was able to get a tour of this space and become familiar with the services that are provided to students. So then that way, if a student comes to me, I know that I can tell them this is where you can go to get those services. But also because we're working and building this partnership, I had an employer send an email to ask what if they needed accommodation or if a student needed an accommodation, what is the process and where did they go to? And I was able to go to Mr. Maxwell. I knew exactly who to go to, and I was able to go to Mr. Maxwell to get that information so that I could provide it to that employer because they also wanted to be able to provide accessibility to our students when they're on campus and having events. So that was really great for me to go to their office to see what they offer, but also having that person that I can connect with when employers have questions about accessibility and being accessible to our students while they're on our campus.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And to hear that an employer is initiating that kind of conversation right before they show up, that's awesome. And believe me, we preach that a lot here to our employers, because when they come to our organization, they're seeking the diverse talents of individuals with disabilities. And often they're on your campuses recruiting that talent. And they're saying to us, where is this talent, right? Where are they? And so we are often pushing them to be very open about their desire to see that diverse population of students. And so that's great to hear that you're getting those kinds of requests from employers as they visit the job fairs and career fairs. I know that one of the recent orientations that you hosted, Michael, I think you shared some of the experience that you had as a way to, again, when we're talking about building networks, right? It's really important early on in a student's journey on a campus to get those supports in place and to get that network in place. Michael, do you want to share with us a little bit about that experience?
Yes, I do. So recently, a couple weeks ago, we had a freshman presentation where incoming freshmen came to campus and talked to the organizations here on campus. And we was fortunate to have a table. Me, Mr. Maxwell, Jake Kwan, and Mrs. Burnett, who is the testing coordinator. We were able to set up a table and greet incoming freshmen and their families and tell them what the Office of Accessibility Resources is and what they provide and how it will benefit them, how it will benefit the students for the upcoming semester. And so we was able to do that.
It's fantastic. Yeah, and you had said to me last week when you and I spoke about how impactful that would have been for you as an incoming freshman to have that opportunity and to hear about the CommunAbility mentoring program and opportunity to have a mentor and the interest of employers as you entered as a freshman. So I can imagine even being a parent, right? With a new freshman student, that's a really great way to communicate the supports and the services that you all are making available to these students. That's fantastic. And so, yeah, go ahead.
And with that particular orientation, it was through the admissions office. So not only have we partnered with career services, but we've partnered with admissions that whenever they do university-wide open houses, campus tours, that the Office of Accessibility Resources would be a part of their planning process. We've also partnered with our student development office. So like this week, it's what we call Aggie Fest. And so we met with them, myself and some of the students met with them and said, hey, when you all are planning this, please remember that there are students with disabilities on campus. And so they have included our students in their planning process. And I jump back on because I do want to say that Michael and the other student led the conversations with the upcoming freshmen as well as their parents, because we want the student's voice to be heard more so than ours as the professional, if you would. And they did a phenomenal job sharing with students from their perspective what it's going to be like for them once they get here as an incoming freshman.
Right. Yeah. And you mentioned the students. So just for purposes of our discussion today, because often, in the employment side of this, on the business side of this, right, we're often asked, well, how many people with disabilities, are out there, right? How many people with disabilities do I have at my company? But when you're talking about your student population, give us an idea. How many students are we talking about in terms of the representation of college students with disabilities on your campus today?
So as of today, we have a total of 940 students that have self-identified as having some diagnosed disability. 600 plus of those students are Dean's List Chancellor Scholars. So 2/3 of our students are excelling greatly at the university.
That is outstanding. I mean, and that I hope every representative that's representing a business on today's call, and those that listen to this after on this recording, pay attention to that. That is an amazing number, and the talent is out there. and they're ready to join your organizations and your businesses and are looking for those opportunities. So they're there. You just need to be proactive in finding them and getting out there. So thank you for that. I guess the other thing, which kind of is natural, and then I'm going to bring in the folks from NC Central to join the conversation, is I understand that you all may be considering starting a Delta Alpha Phi International Honor Society?
So yes, we already have the paperwork and process. We're just waiting for the charter to be paid for. So we will officially charter the first chapter at a public HBCU in North Carolina in the fall.
Wow.
So yes, we are very excited. And the students, like I said, 600 plus students are eligible to be a part of Delta Alpha Pi, this international honor society. And they are excited about leaving a legacy, making history here at the university. And they're brainstorming about ways that they can reach other students on campus that have a disability but have not identified as of yet.
Yeah.
And I will say before I shift about Ms. Dunston, who I am loving working with, one of the ideas that we did come up with, I know Michael is the career advocate through you all's this program, but we also thought about having another career advocate that would specifically be focused in career services. So like Michael works with our students, that career advocate through the Office of Career Services will reach out to students as they're coming in and out of the Career Center as well.
Yeah, fantastic. I love that idea. And later on in today's call, we're going to tee up some future conversations. So hold that thought, because I think it's a great one. And let's talk about the ways that we can kind of revise some of the model that we're looking at as we move forward. So great. So I want you guys to stay with us, but I do want to bring into the conversation Charles Jennings and Dekendrick Murray from NC Central. So welcome. And if you want to do a brief introduction, that would be great.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Charles Jennings over at Central. I am the director in the Career and Professional Development Center. I've been in this position for a year, so I just celebrated a year on April the 1st, but I've been in career services for 23 years total, with a concentration of 13 years in higher ed. Before I got into higher ed, though, I used to work several years ago, before I got gray hairs, I used to work for the Department of Labor, where a big focus was working with customers with disabilities. So my work with the differently abled population has been in existence for some time. So now I'm gonna pass it over to my amazing colleague, Dekendrick, to introduce himself. But I must honestly say that when I came on board at Central, Dekendrick was the first fellow director in our Division of Student Affairs to reach out to me, to talk to me about, hey, I'm here to support you. Let's collaborate. Let's talk about also, so let me bring you up to speed about what's already going on between my office and the Career and Professional Development Center. So it's been amazing to work with him, but also to continue on the great work that I already started before I got here, and just to take it up to another level. So, Dekendrick.
Awesome. Good afternoon, everyone. Dekendrick Murray, as he said, Director of Student Accessibility Services, and for a few of our TRIO programs on campus. Super excited to chat with you all today as well. I am now entering my third year here at Central, so February 1st, 2021 was my first year. But it's been a pleasure to work with our Career and Professional Development Center. in a few different capacities, from at one point sharing a staff member to events and programs and all that good stuff. So excited to share a little bit more today.
Right. Thank you so much. And I apologize. I know a Charles or Chris Jennings, and that's why I'm so sorry. So, perfect. Well, listen, I know you guys have some amazing things happening on your campus. Pat and I were blown away when we came and met with you all. Super energized. You guys have got just things buzzing, not to mention a really beautiful, campus as well. And I know you even had a Chick-fil-A, but I guess a lot of campuses do. And I'm just going to give a shout out there. That was awesome looking. I mean, amazing. But tell us a little bit about some of the things happening on campus, Dekendrick, as you think about the importance of building, again, those networks, right, within your community of students. Tell us about some things going on there.
Yeah, so I would say, so first for us here at Central, approximately 750 students have self-disclosed having a documented diagnosis. And so for us, our motto is access for every Eagle. And so working with Charles and his department, we've been able to really increase that access in terms of preparation for careers, internships, and, professional development just in general. So some of the things that, we've had the opportunity to work together on, first, like I said, I mentioned earlier, included sharing a staff member, a career development coordinator, who basically worked between the two offices and supported our students in our TRIO student access program, which is a federally funded TRIO program that specifically supports students with documented disabilities. And we have 5 TRIO programs on campus, and that one specifically is where we pushed more of our students who had self-disclosed into. And so we had a chance to share a staff member with that program, and really just focus on career coaching, providing students with opportunities and information regarding internships. And then I have to really give Charles a shout out most recently for, we just hosted our second annual TRIO Student Access and Success Conference, which is a conference where we invite TRIO programs as well as accessibility office from throughout the nation to come to campus. This year's conference had 231 people, but thanks to Mr. Charles Jennings, we brought over, I think, 45 employers to campus to specifically recruit our students with disabilities, as well as our students who are first generation and or low income. So I had to just give him a shout out for that, because when he told me he was sending the email and we started getting all the responses, it just really lit up and really added to the conference. So much so to when I was looking at some of the evaluations, that one came up basically as the most, as that's what they really loved about the conference, the career and the connections to vendors and different things and stuff of that nature. And then we also work together for different programs and projects. This past summer, we launched what we call a Summer Leadership Academy, where students have the opportunity to grow in participate in one of 3 tracks and grow academically, personally, or professionally. And so they're learning about the graduate school admissions process. They're learning about the career exploration, choosing a major, and choosing, getting your resumes together and stuff like that. And then they're also learning about financial literacy education, so budgeting, savings, and different things of that nature. And Byron Dickey, who's now their assistant director over there, was really integral in helping with our career track, meeting with the presenter, making sure that the information was in line with NACE, right? I want to make sure I say it right, NACE. So he made sure the information was in line with NACE, and really just kind of, really supported that. And one of the cool things that the students appreciated is that at the end of the Summer Leadership Academy, they all got $1,000 scholarship. And so that was just another kind of little added bonus to support them there. But just in general, I love working with our Career and Professional Development Center. Charles has never told me no on an idea. We always find a way to make it work. And we always end up just, pushing different things forward. And I know he has tons to add to this as well.
One of the things also too that is unique about our partnership is that in our career center, we have student workers that we call career eagle officers. We call them CEOs. And one of our CEOs, who's I must say that I'm grateful to have 12 amazing rock stars, but one of our CEOs also serves as a SAS peer leader as well. So that's a way that we also, collaborate between the two offices, because of course, she is doing work for our office by advising students about their resume and giving them tips about obtaining internships, but also there are times where she has done some work for Dekendrick's office and referring students to come over to see her, referring students from the SAS office over to our office to see those services as well. So yes, again, what I have to really point out is that there was a lot of great work that was already done between the two offices before I got here in April of last year. And my focus is once, meeting Dekendrick and hearing about his passion and drive about, changing the culture of the campus and making things better for those students, was just how we could tap in to help assist with that mission as well. One of the things that I think we really kind of focus on here at the Career and Professional Development Centers, we just want to make sure that every student population feels like they are welcome and that they can receive all the services that everyone else receives. So making sure that's possible and potential.
That's awesome. So, yeah, I mean, wow, it's a lot going on. And this is for both of you guys, but how are you leveraging? I mean, you said you had 45 employers at the Career Center. How are you leveraging your alumni office, or are you in some of these discussions?
Yeah. I can speak from a SAS perspective, and I know that Charles has lots to share on that because they do such an amazing job with it. From a accessibility office perspective, we've worked really closely with not only with alumni, but also institutional advancement. And so we're currently working on a few projects where we're getting sponsorships, but then also just that integration of reaching out. One of the things that we do when we send when our students graduate is that we send them like an exit survey. And so they, if they do have a accessibility need or a diagnosis, they do have the ability to come back and speak on panels for us, engage with students, once they're in the workforce. Most recently, we took 12 students to Atlanta for a graduate school tour, and one of the alumni, actually, he works over at Polaris, the hotel that basically, or the restaurant that sits on top of the hotel that spins or something. And so he's a general manager there. He set up a nice, awesome dinner for the students where they got a chance to dress up and, really just be a part of the environment and just enjoy their experience. So those are just a few ways for us, but Charles can answer that greatly.
Yes, as Dekendrick mentioned, we work very closely too with the Office of Alumni Relations and the Office of Institutional Advancement, especially when it comes to our corporate partners who are wanting to do type of sponsorships as well. But a lot of times when it comes to the Office of Alumni Relations, there's alums that want to get really infused into, helping the students with their development while they're here at Central. So there's a big event that takes place during homecoming where we're inviting alums to come back and talk to first year seminar classes. A lot of times too with the corporate partners, I'm sorry, there's someone blowing. Hopefully y'all don't hear that, but there's someone blowing outside of my window really bad here. But when it comes to our corporate partners, our employer partners, a lot of times who we have communication with is not only the representatives in talent acquisition, but it's the alums that work at the organization that really want to make sure that the employer is really invested in recruiting here at Central and working alongside with our students. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but one thing that we've been really focused on too, when I talked about wanting to make sure that we're a career center that is catering to the needs of all of our student populations, is we decided to engage and initiate using this new platform called Inclusively, where we are utilizing this to, it inclusively has employers that are focused on hiring students with disabilities in the platform. So we will be initiating and using that in the upcoming academic year, which I think will be a good game changer for a lot of our students who are looking for internship and full-time opportunities.
That's great.
And just to add on to what was already said, one of the things that we've started to do here at A&T, we have what we call chew and chat sessions every 2 weeks, every other Tuesday, where Aggie alums come and do kind of a fireside chat with our students that have disabilities, work with them on resumes, what it was like or what it is like in that particular career field, and just allow them opportunity to ask all types of questions. And so our next one actually is on the 18th of the month. So we're really excited about starting that as well.
That's great. Yeah. And I bring that up too, because I know even in our experience with CommunAbility mentoring, I had one individual reach out to me and mention that while she was on campus at her alma mater, which is Shaw, during homecoming, and saw one of our CommunAbility mentoring flyers, and happens to have a son with autism, and actually that you know, her son is as you all know, is actually in graduate school on the campus of A&T, and so that allowed us to reconnect and connect the dots for her and get him engaged as well. And so it does matter. I share that story with you to say, right, it matters, this work and the attention to the students with disabilities and engaging them fully in the experience on campus matters to the alumni. And so you know, it's again sometime a missed opportunity, but you all are certainly raising awareness and growing the conversation on your campuses. So well done, well done. I won't want to take time too, because I know I've got some students on the line, and I don't want to take all the time, but are there questions? Leanne or Michael, do you guys see any questions or comments in the chat that you'd like to share, or make any comments yourselves? Kind of open it up. And if you're talking, you may be on mute.
Yeah, I was going to say, Beth, one thing that I would add to, especially when engaging the work of the cross collaborations and stuff like that, I find that I think we end up working really well because we allow both of the minds to just flow. Like if Charles is thinking about something that could be really helpful, like the inclusively, I was like, bet, yes, come on, let's bring it on. You know what I'm saying? Or if I'm thinking about something like with the conference and stuff, and I was like, hey, we need some employers. Could you help me out? And he was like, hey, I can send a list to 18,000 or 1,800 or something. And I was just like, all right, do whatever you want to do, you know, but I think we really support each other. And then we encourage that with our staffs as well, you know, working collaboratively. Anytime I stop by the student union, because my office isn't in the student union, but anytime I stop over there, I make my way to his office just to give my highs, you know, to everybody over there. And I let them know, you know, I only come once in a blue moon. You saw how far that student center is, but I only come over there once in a blue moon. But whenever I go, I definitely make sure to stop by, and just really supporting each other outside of the work. I found that really, really, really does help us with the work and really connecting and stuff like that. So super duper exciting. And one of the things that we're excited about too, Kevin, as well, is that we're launching Delta Alpha Pi as well. When you mentioned, I was like, yes, you know, so that's 2 awesome HBCUs that will have it within the network, and really just really continuing to change the scope of disability in North Carolina. We just want to continue to just be advocates, continue to be support systems, and just continue providing access, as we say, for every eagle, you know, but just access for our students.
Absolutely. So speaking of access, I do want to mention this. So Disability in North Carolina, we host a fall conference annually, right? And that happens in October. And I think we shared that with you all when we were on your campuses. And this year, that will be on October 12th. And it's hosted by Train Technologies here in Davidson, North Carolina. But we are very excited that we are going to commit half of that conference to connecting your talents and inviting our HBCU CommunAbility mentoring mentees to connect with our student with our businesses that come to this conference as well. So as we grow this, we want students to attend. And I know when we were at A&T, had the opportunity to share, and we've got buy-in at the highest level there. So we look forward to you all bringing your students to that conference and really engaging with businesses, because you're right, it's about making those connections. And that's the idea too, is starting these conversations around career and networking and making those contacts while you're still on your journey in education, so that when you step out into the world right after graduation, you have that network. You have individuals that have walked with you during that journey, and it makes it so much easier. And I think for a long time, students with disabilities have kind of been sitting on the sidelines in many cases and on many campuses. And so I love the intentionality you guys are bringing to the collaboration and bringing those offices together, and all for the betterment of the students. And again, I'm blown away by the number of students that are raising their hand and saying, yeah, that this is my story. I have a disability. And for those that are on the call, when we talk about disabilities, and we've said this before, right, it's all types of disabilities. It's not just intellectual or developmental disabilities. It's learning disabilities, right? It's dyslexia. It's people with low vision or blindness. It's people that have mobility challenges. So it's a broad range: mental health, depression, you name it. And again, we know that those disabilities are well represented within corporate America as well. And so what we want to do through this program and through building these conversations is to, as you said at the beginning, take away the stigma. It's time to just be open and talk about accommodations, talk about what supports you need to be successful. If that's on campus, if that's, in the business culture. So again, so proud of the work that you all are doing. And I think we have a lot to share with one another as we grow this conversation. I was trying to find my phone so I could check the time here. All right, we're doing well. We're doing well. Are there any other questions or comments in the chat box? Anything anybody else would like to add to today's conversation? Okay. I am just, again, honored to have you all with us today. One of the things that I do want to remind everyone is that encourage you to continue your mentor and mentee meetings and conversations. We are going to wrap up the spring semester, but with our career advocates coming up here in just the next week, because we really want to give them time to focus on wrapping up strong and finishing strong with the semester. That said, continue with those mentor-mentee meetings. I think that's fantastic. And then it's up to you to decide if you want to carry those on through the summer. You are welcome to do that. What we will do is we are going to invite the CommunAbility advisory group, so our career services and disability support service reps, back into a regular cadence of meetings, and those are going to start in mid to late May, and we are going to learn from the experience this year, and then be ready to launch again strong in the fall of 2023. So very, very excited about all that we've learned, and so our next session is going to be on April 19th. That will be our last final formal group mentoring session. And I really want to encourage those business mentors and their mentees, join that call, as well as all of you. You're welcome to join us, because that's going to be an opportunity for us to hear what the experience has been like for you all. But also we want feedback, because there's opportunities. This is not just a one and done. This is not a model that's just set in stone. And I think we've said this on every campus that we visited, and that is, we're building the plane as we're flying it, right? We are really wanting to just lean into the learnings and what's working and what we can do better. One thing that I will say that I'm really excited about, and you guys have brought this to the forefront in your comments and remarks today, and that is, on the corporate side of this conversation, we talk a lot about a cross-functional team, right? A team that is representative of human resources, of the benefits area, of the accessibility office or department, and so forth. I think the same model is very evident and clear, but needs to happen on these campuses as well. And you guys are doing that. From career services to the Office of Accommodation and Resources to the alumni offices and so forth. So I look forward to continuing that conversation, and let's grow this and continue to again work together and make it stronger. And at the end of the day, it's going to benefit all of us, especially when you've got employers that are coming to your campus looking for that diverse talent. We want to change those statistics that say that students with disabilities have an employment rate of about 28% 1 year out from graduation, versus their colleagues or their students without disabilities that have about a 75.5% employment rate. That doesn't make sense, especially given what we've heard today. About the incredible talent and the chancellor's list and the dean's list and the percentage of students with disabilities that are represented at that level, at that academic achievement level. So excited about the future. Again, I want to thank you all for joining us today. And if you have any need or questions, comments, please don't hesitate to email me at beth@di-nc.org. And I want to thank our guests very much for today's comments, and just keep up the good work. You guys are doing outstanding, and we're proud to be a part of what you're doing on your campuses. So thank you.